Good morning, aspirants. Welcome to today's Sameeksha, the content extraction for mains from the Hindu, that is September 26, 2022. Today, this is Monday, the first week of the month, the first day of the week. So, let's quickly discuss with what are the things that are there in today's Hindu as far as this is considered. So, again, I am going with the addition of. So today's Hindu, the 26th of September 2022, Monday. This is also Vishakhapattanam edition. I'm taking this. Let me quickly go through because of Dasara. They have given many advertisements. Not bothered about all these things unless and until you are interested in buying something. Let's go to the first front page. 92 MLAs in Rajasthan threaten to resign if Sachin Pilot is made CM. This is some internal conflicts which is happening between the so-called Indian National Congress in Rajasthan. No need to have much relevance about this. Nitish Lalu tried to find common grounds for Congress and other political parties. Now opposition is trying to get united against the so-called BJP government. Again, nothing relevance here. Vishakhapattanam edition, you do not have much relevance. Now, have a look at this. There is some flaws here. An eruption of purple. This is about Neelan Kurunji. This is about Neela Kurunji flowers that are going blooming once in 12 years. They are purple in color. They might ask. This is grown in Chikmagaluru district of Karnataka. For prelims, this is something which is important. Just remember where it is grown. Once blown in 12 years. Further, coming to the editorials directly, there is no much news that is important for our general studies in the front pages. So this is Violent Front. This is speaking about our Popular Front of India, which was in news in the last 3 days or 4 days, because National Investigative Agency and Enforcement Directorate has conducted various search operations and arrest operations of these persons. As a result, they are going into violence. So this article is speaking about that. On one side, this organization is speaking about their constitutional rights. On the other side, they are going against the same constitutional norms by not respecting the court's verdict or not following the so-called security and law of the country. So on one side, they say that we follow, or continuously they invoke constitution, democratic values, rule of law, but at the same time they try to invoke violence through hate speech. Now PFI and Social Democratic Party of India, PFI is the PFI is the organization. The political front of this organization is SDPI, Socialist Democratic Party of India. Now they are trying to often collaborate with each other, but in front, in public, they deny each other. However, what they are doing, they are fomenting hostility between different religious groups, thereby disrupting public tranquility, that is public peace, causing disaffection against India. Now they are also instigating vulnerable youth to join out-based terror outfits like Al-Qaeda, and they are also continuously indulging in unlawful activities such as money laundering, these things. Now, how they are getting their support? Because they are profiting from the sense of insecurity that minorities are facing in India because of the majoritarian rule or because of Hindutva outfits. So what this article says is, yes, PFI has crossed every line. There is nothing wrong in arresting these persons and going or taking legal actions. At the same time, Government of India's response should also be in tackling the interests of minorities to alleviate the insecurity feeling of these minorities. Then only these people will not get any base for these organizations. Now, this is over the top. This speaks about draft telecommunication bill that government of India wanted to bring a new telecommunication bill in the coming parliamentary session. However, for that they are taking suggestions from the public. They have released a draft for people's comments. Now, this is about that draft. We have to wait what will be the final outlook of this draft, then we can comment on that. But overall, what it is saying that we are going to define what is telecommunication, and we are also going to say about because of technology improvement, the earlier versions or earlier acts are not sufficient, so we have to upgrade it. But this article is also saying that this draft should also look at draft data privacy. Privacy is a fundamental right as per Supreme Court Puttaswamy case, so it has to focus on that. Leave this, you can leave this conveniently. Once that draft becomes an act, we can discuss those things there. No need for ball by ball commentary every day. A very good article for political science students on soft power, the new race every country wants to win. Abhishek Srivastav has given this. Now, soft power in political science, in international relations, you have two types of power. In order to engage with any country, you can engage in two ways: hard power and soft power. Soft power concept was given by a political thinker called Joseph Nye. Joseph Nye, he was an American political scientist. Obviously, much of the international relations scholars are from America. So he was Joseph Nye. In the 1980s, he defined what is soft power. Soft power is the power of attraction through culture, political ideas, policies rather than coercion. If you are using coercion, that is stick policy to gain your power, then that is called hard power. If you are using carrot policy, that is called soft power. So soft power is nothing but the soft carrot policy. Now, this article is speaking how sports build soft power over a period of time. So there was Indian sports fraternity or sports sector is growing these days. That is very visible from the Tokyo Olympics. That is very visible from the recent that is very visible from the recent Commonwealth Games performance. Now, a survey is clearly saying that China, because of its dominance in the Olympics, it has gained a soft power with some of the countries. However, this soft power couldn't stand because of the aggressive policy of China or communism of China. In what way soft power is playing a crucial role, or sports is playing a crucial role in building this soft power is he gives an example that China, many South African countries have entered deal with China to train their athletes in China. At the same time, China is also sending their sportsmen who are participating in running to countries like Kenya, and they are getting training there. So, building up some institutions in the sports fraternity, in the sports sector, is going to play a very crucial role to build this soft power. This is what he says. So he says, for example, African countries such as Madagascar are trained in swimming, badminton, tennis in China, while China has reciprocated the same thing with their runners training in Kenya. So this is the relations that are coming to talk, right? So he says that India should also do the same thing. India has launched some schemes to enhance their Olympics performance. At the same time, we are not performing to that level given the size of the population that we have. So what he is saying is there are three things to go ahead with this. The first thing is India should make MOUs with the nation countries that excel in sports specific sports. You have to disengage or you have to take away politics from sports because politics is completely different from sports. What he says is we have to make MOUs with some best sport countries like Australia and United Kingdom to assist us in swimming, and we can negotiate with Kenya for running. We can associate. China has asked for India's help in developing cricket in their country. So these type of things has to cross political limits, and they have to develop power. As a result, it is going to develop. Second thing is look at the top scheme, Target Olympics Podium scheme that Indian government under Narendra Modi has started to enhance our productivity in Olympics, and as a result, we have shown a better performance in Tokyo thanks to these tops. Now, what it is saying is the first thing is enter into MOUs with countries. Second one is make sure that at least 500 athletes are there in the tops. The third one is you have to ask for private investment in the sports sector. Through this PPP models, sports sector will develop. So three things: first, to develop the sports sector, enter MOUs with other countries, and then it is going to realize the soft power. Soft power is the power through talk, discussion, debate, through cultural exchange rather than coercive power. Just remember what are the things how soft power is playing a very crucial role. Now, what is soft power? As per Joseph Nye, soft power is the power of attraction through culture, political ideologies, and policies rather than coercion. Just remember a very simple sentence on how sports is playing a crucial role in building soft power. This can be used in PSIR particularly, but in international relations also you can use these things. Anyways, you can use this quotation convincingly in essay writing if the essay is speaking about sports. A ground for Indians performed multilateralism. A very good article again by Harshvi Pant, who is the vice president of Observers Research Foundation. Now, what is this article? This article speaks about how India is engaging with multilateral countries or multilateral organizations while dealing with the so-called bilateral organizations. He starts that recently India has went to SCO. We have participated there. We have made our presence there. Similarly, the foreign minister of our country, Mr. Jaishankar, is reaching to various countries and he is trying to develop some multicultural, multilateral institutions also. For example, if you look at recent visit of Indian foreign minister, we have attended bilateral meetings to plurilateral to multilateral institutions like Quad, which is an organization of Australia, India, Japan, and US. We have participated here. We have participated in IPSA, India, Brazil, South African Summit, BRICS Summit. We have participated in Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CARICOM, Caribbean Community, and trilateral platforms like India, France, Australia, India, France, United Arab Emirates, India, Indonesia, Australia. So this shows that at one platform we are developing bilateral relations, we are developing trilateral relations, plurilateral institutions. At the same time, we are not neglecting multilateral institutions such as asking for reforms in the United Nations organization, which is a very great thing that India is doing. And he says that multilateral institutions, particularly United Nations, is suffering huge crisis post COVID-19. And he says there are three instances to say these multilateral institutions are declining. One instant is after COVID-19, there are three things which has ensured that the countries are going down. The first instance is now after COVID-19, many developed countries suffered. At this point of time, the global south countries, that is the developing countries, has taken the role of helping the world to come out of COVID-19. This is the new era of multilateralism. So the global south countries started stepping up their relief efforts. As a result, now there is highly essential need for United Nations Security Council to reform their council and include these global south countries into permanent 5 countries. At least one country from every continent should be given a P5 membership, that is permanent veto powers. So this is the first thing. The second thing that he says is multilateralism under UN has faced severe crisis in stopping wars. United Nations organization is the political platform which was formed after Second World War to stop the countries from going to war, but United Nations couldn't stop these wars. The best example is Russia's invasion into Ukraine, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan border conflicts, the conflicts that is existing between Armenia, Azerbaijan. So the world is reeling under huge wars, but UNO couldn't stop that. This is another drawback of United Nations as per this article. The third thing is China's aggression has been not able to be controlled by United Nations. Look at how China is breaking down the international rules-based order. As a result, United Nations Security Council failed to control them. At the same time, Chinese influence into this multilateralism is growing day by day. For example, recently China kept a good pressure on United Nations Human Rights Chief, UNHRC Chief, to not release a report regarding the conditions of Uyghurs in China. Uyghurs are the Muslim communities in China. China is suppressing them. Now, United Nations Human Rights Commission Council was about to release this report, but China successfully stopped it or blocked it. The second example is China's successive stop of India's claims of adding few persons to global terrorists. The recent one being the Lashkar-e-Taiba chief, that is Sajid Mir. China blocked China used this veto power to stop this. As a result, China is misusing this power. So, on one side, United Nations organizations or multilateral institutions need reforms. Why? Global South countries are playing a dominant role. The multilateralism is coming down because of the wars. It couldn't stop wars. At the same time, Chinese aggression. At the same time, India is also playing a very diplomatic move by engaging with country to country, at bilateral levels, trilateral levels, plurilateral levels, and multilateral institutions. This is something a very good article for those students of UPSC for mains as well as for political science students. So if you want me to highlight the two things, you can use this article to be read article, and the second article is the article written by Soft to Power on Soft to Power. India insurance needs a neurodiverse workspace. Now, this can be used in society where how you have to look at the so-called inclusive growth, neuro diversity. Now, it is said that diversity in any organization is going to increase its productivity. As per McKinsey's study, the company's profitability is going to rise by 25% if there is more diversity. India is also having this diversity. Nonetheless, we are not having diversity of neurodiversity. Now, what is this neurodivergent conditions? Neurodivergent conditions means people suffering from attention deficit, hyperactivity disorders, autism spectrum disorders, dyslexia, dyspraxia. So these things, people who are suffering from with these neurological problems, we do not have these people present in the so-called offices. So what the author says is, if you are adding these people, neurodiversity is going to increase efficiency, creativity, and culture. No need to go through this. Just remember that any organization, in order to perform better, what is the thing is diversity should be increased. That is what it is. Have a look at it. Maharashtra's loss is gain for Gujarat. This is in the context of the recent article that Vedanta Foxconn, the company, first announced to start its base of building the manufacturing. This manufacturing company stated earlier that they are going to start their industry in Maharashtra, but over a period of time, after the change of government in Maharashtra, they have shifted it to Gujarat. Now there was some conflict which is going on. This is claimed that Gujarat or the central government has forced this Vedanta Foxconn to move to Gujarat because Gujarat is going to elections in the upcoming year. As a result, in order to woo the voters, this type of things is being done. So this is the thing that you can use in corporate ethics. These two things can be used in corporate ethics. Just remember this Vedanta Foxconn incident and neurodiversity workspace. Workspace has to be more diverse. In ethics, you can use both things. Apart from that, nothing is important. Midday meal related food poisoning cases are at a 6-year peak high, saying at a 6-year peak. This is the report of COG. Now, where you can use this in implementing of the schemes. Food poisoning cases are being reported, and it is at a 6-year high in the last 6-year high this year. This is as per COG report. Now, what is the reasons for this? The data says that consumption of midday meals have resurfaced in the last 90 days. Up to 120 students suffered from this food poisoning, and it is saying that victims become ill. Why? They are consuming some food which is consuming midday meals in which lizards, rats, snakes, and cockroaches were found, which means these insects are found in the so-called the food that they are eating or in the grains. That is the first thing. The second thing is poor infrastructure facilities, insufficient inspections, and irregular licensing, limited reporting, and absence of feedback mechanisms are the major reasons. So just reason, what are the reasons? One reason is poor infrastructure facilities, poor inspections, irregular licensing, limited reporting, and absence of feedback mechanisms are the reasons for food poisoning in midday meal scheme. As a result, students are suffering from these type of illnesses. That's it. And it also says that the minimum temperature of a food that is served under midday meals has to be around 65 degrees centigrade when it is served. But COG in its report says that many NGOs who are participating in the midday meal scheme do not have this provisions of providing hot meals in schools. So NGOs are not following the rules. So these things. So where you can use again in society, in child development, in welfare schemes. So what are the reasons? Just remember the reasons. That is more than enough. Labor cost edge may dissipate due to shifts, says Niti Advisor. Niti Advisor says that whatever the edge that we have in cheap labor, that is going to have, that will be vaporized because of cutting edge technologies such as 3D printing, robotics, etc. Though they might create new jobs, at the same time, it is going to take away the factors that helped us to produce goods at a very cheaper price, that is labor cost. So labor cost is going to rise because of cutting edge technology. That is what the article is saying. No need to go much in depth. So this incident, government lacks clear stand and curative plea in Bhopal 8 case. This is the tragedy which has happened in 1984, and almost 5,295, 5 less than 3,000 people were killed, 6,000 people were killed, 5,295, 5 less than 5,300 people were killed in this incident, and 5 lakh people were injured. Now this is speaking about the compensation that is being paid to them. No ball by ball commentary. We'll look at this once the government or Supreme Court says its case. Right, leave it. So this is the things for the day. One thing, a noteworthy thing for Germany, United Arab Emirates agreed to supply Germany with much needed gas and diesel. Why this is in news? Because Russia stopped sending or cut down its oil, gas, sending it to Germany, because Germany is supporting Ukraine in Russia-Ukraine war. As a result, Russia has taken off its gas supplies to Germany, and now Germany is entering into engagement with UAE so that they are getting that gas resource from this. So something which is a noteworthy thing for Germany. Super typhoon Noru hits Philippines. This I'll discuss in prelims, just different types of names of cyclones in different parts of the country. No leniency woes Iran's chief judiciary. The head of the judicial wing in Iran is saying that we are not going to entertain these type of protests which is happening because of the death of Masha Amini. From the last 9 days, this incident is happening, and he is saying he is sticking to his ultra conservatism, that we are not going to relieve or give reliefs against this conservative mechanisms. So this is for the day. So not much articles. So if you want me to put this in the entire context, what are the things? For society, you have two things. One is work culture. You can use something called, in the society, you can use this child's health, food poisoning. When it comes to polity, you have nothing great again in the polity except that central government playing a non-legal route to shift some companies from one state to other state. The second thing is in the governance, you can write again midday meal schemes. And then when it comes to social justice, workspace is very important. And when it comes to international relations, very good articles for their soft power versus sports. Second thing is how multilateralism is declining and how India is playing its or securing its international relations interests. That is a very good article to read, these two things. Next one, when you go to economy, not much things. Science and technology, not much things. When it comes to internal security, just that PFI article that we have already read. So you cannot take the shelter under constitutional norms by saying that at the same time by doing anti-national elements or anti-national things. So this is for today's Sameeksha. Very good article, not much things. So thanks for joining. We'll continue this tomorrow with the new articles. Please subscribe to our channel. See you. Have a great week ahead.